Despite quarantine restrictions, some university students have managed to venture out of Hong Kong through international exchange programs. But for these young people, navigating various COVID-related travel troubles was far from a walk in the park. Jackie Lin listened to their stories. Part of the story was filmed months ago when the pandemic was less serious.
While the pandemic has forced many overseas exchange programs to be cancelled, they have made a cautious comeback. Among the lucky few to take part was Eugenie, a student at the University of Hong Kong, who went on exchange at King's College London.
During the exchange, I've been to many places such as Budapest, Barcelona, Iceland, etc. It was a really fun yet nerve-wracking experience.
An experience involving much prior research and contingency plans to grapple with the fluid COVID situations and policies at the time.
You will actually first have to carefully search for the entry requirement. All these procedures are actually very time-consuming, especially when travel restrictions are changing constantly.
For others, the pandemic meant studying abroad is more about studying than traveling. Like Alexandra here, she went on exchange at the University of Toronto, but barely traveled outside the city, let alone the rest of the American continents.
I feel a kind of mixed emotion in my exchange journey. I actually felt a little bit pity because of the pandemic, and many social exchange opportunities were cancelled, and I myself even forced to come back Hong Kong a month earlier. I had no way and to force myself to keep focused on the academic part.
According to HKU's latest statistics, around 3,000 students took part in overseas learning experience programs in year 2020-2021. The number is less than one-third of the pre-pandemic level. An even more precipitous drop in the number of visiting students from abroad, which plunged more than 85%.
One of the incoming exchangers is Alan from the UK.
It was honestly one of the biggest stresses I've ever experienced, actually trying to make it here. So the whole process of the visa process, the testing negative from COVID. The COVID culture almost is completely different in the UK to here. Since the border is very much closed, we can't really go anywhere, not even to Macau.
But thanks to that, Alan was met with pleasant surprises.
I came to Hong Kong expecting the vibrant city life, but all my favorite places in Hong Kong have really been the natural stuff.
Earlier, Hong Kong shortened its quarantine periods, possibly the first step towards easing travel restrictions further. And as the new school year comes around, they encourage others to go for these hard-to-come-by overseas learning experiences.
The Eurobond experience is actually amazing, so I'm very grateful.
Comparing to the exchange student from Hong Kong, a year or 2 years before, they could only spend their so-called exchange experience online. So I feel myself was extremely lucky to have the opportunity.
The pandemic also makes me more grateful to have a chance to actually travel, because normally I would take everything for granted, but now I know that I'm the lucky ones.
Jackie Lin, TVB News.